Hey everyone, welcome to the show. I'm your host. Today we're going to share a story from our series called A Real Story. This is a series where we share real stories from real people. Today's story is about a woman who found a new purpose after she turned 60. Our storyteller is Helen Brooks, and here is her story. My name is Helen Brooks, and I'm 68 years old. I worked for 35 years as a librarian in a small town in Oregon. I knew every child's name who walked through those library doors. I loved books, but I loved people more. When I retired at 63, I thought, finally, time to rest. No alarms, no schedules. No more Miss Brooks, can you help me find this? But what I didn't realize was when you dedicate so much of your life to something, then step away from it, there's a hole that needs to be filled. I was also leaving behind a part of my identity. The first few months were fine. I gardened. I rearranged the house. I even tried knitting, but soon the silence got louder. The phone rang less. My calendar had nothing but empty white squares. No one needed me anymore. At least that's how it felt. I'd wake up late, make some tea, sit by the window and watch the world go by and wonder, is this all that's left? Just waiting? My kids were busy. My husband had passed 5 years ago. And though people said, enjoy your golden years, no one told me how lonely they could feel. One afternoon, I went to the grocery store just to get out. At checkout, the cashier, a girl in her early 20s, looked stressed, very young, very tired. I smiled and said, rough day. She looked up, surprised, then nodded. I've got exams and my car broke down this morning. We talked for barely 2 minutes. I paid for my things and left. But that night, I couldn't stop thinking about her. How just one smile, one question had opened a door. Next week, I came back, looked for her lane. She saw me and smiled like we were old friends. I asked about her exams. She said, you remembered. I only hope I can do well enough to get into a good college and get a decent job, she said. That did it. I had to do something. That moment, I don't know, it just did something to me. I felt needed again. Not as a librarian, not as a mother, just as a human being who still had something to give. I started going to the store weekly, not just to shop, but to connect. Sometimes I brought homemade muffins to share. Sometimes I offered a kind word to the tired young mom in line. Once, I helped an elderly man fill out a form he couldn't read properly. But each time I felt lighter, more useful, more alive. A month later, I saw a flyer in the community center. Volunteers needed to read to children at the library. I cut it out and taped it to my fridge. My heart skipped. That library? My second home for decades. I signed up. Now, every Tuesday and Thursday, I sit in that same building where I once worked, reading books to children who giggle, ask silly questions, and remind me why I fell in love with books and people in the first place. I may be 68. I may not move as fast as I used to, but I still have value. I still have purpose. And if you're listening to this, feeling lost after retirement, or maybe you haven't retired and you're worried about the future, I want to tell you, you are not done yet. It may take some time to find what that next chapter looks like, but just keep trying. Maybe volunteer somewhere, try a new class, join a club. You never know when that light bulb moment will happen. It might be in the unlikeliest of places. For me, it was in the car park of a grocery store. For you, it might be at the dog park or waiting in line at the post office. Keep an open mind, keep your heart open. Look for ways you can help others because that's often the path to finding yourself. One small act of kindness, a smile, a word, a helping hand, can become a turning point, not just for someone else, but for you. I'm Helen Brooks, and this is how I found my second chapter, one conversation at a time. Thank you so much for watching this episode of A Real Story. If you enjoyed this episode, please consider liking this video and subscribing to our channel. We share uplifting and inspiring stories from real people every week, so hit the subscribe button to be inspired. Also, if you or someone you know has a story to share, please submit your story through the link in the description below. We would love to hear your story. Until next time, remember to be kind to yourself and others.